These cheesy bread twists are the perfect appetizer if you're hosting, and they'll keep really well if you store them. But first, this recipe went wrong before it went right. I originally wanted to make brioche buns, but because the dough didn't rise, I turned them into cheese twists instead. I was just so exhausted the night before, and I put the dough in the fridge so it had no time to rise and proof, and the yeast became dormant. You can see here that I added in half a cup of warm milk and then 1 tablespoon of yeast. I even covered it with a warm paper towel so that it would ferment. And this is how you would do it for any bread recipe you're making. For the main breadsticks, I added in 2 cups of plain flour to a bowl with 2 tablespoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt. Then I added in half a cup of milk and half a cup of melted butter and then mixed until combined. Now this is where I added in the yeast originally, but if you're making these cheese twists, you can absolutely leave the yeast out because it was dormant in this recipe anyway. So instead you'll just add in half a cup of warm milk here. Then attach your dough hook and mix the dough for about 8 minutes on a medium speed. It will become super soft and lovely, and you can pull it apart and see that the gluten has activated and the dough is elastic. I then added the dough into an oiled bowl, covered it with cling film and a warm towel, but I was just so tired I went to bed and I put it in the fridge overnight, and this essentially just killed the dough or either didn't allow it to activate. As you can see, the dough the next morning just hadn't risen and it wasn't nice and puffy as dough usually is. But I'm a firm believer that anything can be salvaged and nothing goes to waste in my house. And this is where I decided to turn them into breadsticks. To do this, you're going to roll your dough out into a rectangle, sprinkle over grated red Leicester cheese, add some chopped chives, and then cut the dough into equal strips. Take 2 strips and then lift them up slightly and twist them together. Then you're going to take that long strip and then twist it again all together to make sure it's nice and tight. Tuck in the end so it doesn't come loose. There was too much dough to do this all at the same time, so I did split it in half and then just repeated the same process for the second half of the dough. Place these onto a baking sheet and then make sure to brush on some egg wash, and it allows you to get this beautiful pretzel look. Bake at 160 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes until golden. These came out so lovely with a soft pretzel style texture and the perfect amount of cheese, and I sprinkled on a little salt to bring out the flavour even more and served them with a garlic and cream cheese dip. So there you have it, an experimental recipe that turned into something better than I expected. Trust me when I say you need to give these a go.